Nicole Scotty from Mobile Geeks, and today I'm going to be reviewing the LG G2. It's a 5.2-inch smartphone from LG, and if you had a checklist of specs that you wanted a phone to have, this would have them all. Gorgeous 1080p display? Check. Wicked fast processor with the Snapdragon 800? Check. IR blaster? Check. 3000 mAh battery? Check. So since it basically has everything that you'd want in a smartphone spec-wise, does that make it one of the best smartphones in the market? That's what my review is going to look at. The LG G2 has a 5.2-inch full HD IPS display with a resolution of 1080 by 1920 and a PPI of 224. It has a 2.26 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor, 32 gigs of internal memory, 2 GB of RAM, and a 13 megapixel rear-facing camera. On the front, we have a 2.1 megapixel camera, and it's powered by a 3000 mAh battery while running Android Jelly Bean 4.2.2. It also comes packed with a couple of goodies like NFC and Qi wireless charging. So now let's start off with the most unique feature on the phone, the power and volume button. Now I really liked it. I think that when you hold the phone in your hand, naturally your finger does end up there. So to have the volume up there and then the power, and it's recessed enough that you're not going to accidentally turn it on when you kind of press flat on it. Nothing really happens because it is a bit protected there. But if you don't like it, actually one of the greatest features about this phone is the knock, right? So you just tap it and then it unlocks, right? So you tap it again. So you actually have no need to go to the power button. So they've kind of, it's got a nice sleek, compact design. There's nothing kind of along the sides. It's really a fabulous device, I think, aesthetically. I quite like it. A lot of people are, not really digging the industrial nature of the phone, but I think that this knock feature is really great. So now let's take a closer look at what LG's done with this device. So they've packed a lot of software into here. I quite like it. I don't think that it's that intrusive. I don't think that it gets tiresome after a while. I've read a bunch of the reviews on it, and I've been using this for a week, and I gotta say, not that bothered by it. Now this is a 5.2-inch display. I don't have enormous man mittens. I have, I think, average size girl hands, or average size hands anyways. The notification bar is not that difficult for me to reach, right? So it's not tucked into the cushy part of my hand like a lot of people would like when they're reaching for the notification bar, but I still think that it works quite fine. But one of the things that's great about, I think, some of the software that LG has added in is this down here. So you have the option to use this button, the soft key button, to bring the notification bar up or down. Now they do have this, slider up here with everything that they've included, the LED. You can choose a few different colors for that. Wireless storage, so you can actually send music and photos. That's pretty annoying. Yeah, so battery save, 3000 mAh battery, you don't really need that one. Miracast, IR blaster, hotspot. And now you can edit what shows up in there, which is quite good. But it seems like Q-Slide is almost redundant. I don't really care about this. The applications. Then we have these here. Now if we head back into settings, this is where we're going to take a look at some of the software that LG has included. So that sound that you heard, that's the LG, like, life is good. It's the Vienna Boys Choir. It's terrible and I hate it. So that's in here. Smart tone increase. A lot of this stuff it really is quite good. So it even has voice notifications where it will read out your messages to you. So now the display, home screen, lock, brightness, timeout, fade. There's some really nice transitions. Let's see, smart screen. So the display will stay on when it detects your face. A lot of people say that this is kind of pointless and no one really used it on the S4, but LG was actually going after the S4 as kind of their main competitor. And I think that they've done a really good job about going after Samsung in this. The specs on this are tight, the display is good, the form factor is good. Samsung's device is also made of plastic, and they've taken the same approach where they're just packing in as much software as they possibly can into this device. I quite like Smart Screen because I often end up kind of tapping my phone display all the time. Now, battery life, 3,000 milliamp hour battery. I am really seeing all day with this. I have been aggressively using this phone, testing it all day. Video playback, all kinds of just crazy stuff I've been doing with this phone, a lot of benchmarks, and this is like some of the highest benchmarks I've seen on a phone. The Snapdragon 800 processor is top of the pile when it comes to this stuff, but you know, to be honest with you, who really cares about the numbers? How does it feel? The phone feels fast. The phone feels really fast. It feels really snappy when you're surfing around, opening apps. I really like it. But now guest mode I think is fabulous. So if we do use guest mode, so we can go like this to go into guest mode, and so you see that's completely different from what I had up before. So music, video, cameras. Now you can choose which apps that you want in, but you see that there's no email here, right? There's no other real options here. You're not seeing my Facebook. There's no access to the notification bar. So if you are concerned about the privacy of your data, that's a really handy feature to have included. Now, one of the other features that I really like. Now, I don't find any of these annoying. It's quite funny. So people complain online. Some of the reviews, they find them annoying. So when you put in, it shows it, right? I think it's a cute animation. And then you can select what happens. I've always wanted that on my phones. I love it that it gives me the option to select exactly what applications launch with this physical action. So I'm always going, oh, why doesn't that have that? On the Pad phone Infinity, I always wish that ASUS would have done that. Now they have a couple of other features. So let's say we open the internet, and this is called slide aside. So you take 3 fingers. Ooh. Oh, sorry, wrong way. You take 3 fingers and you go across. App saved. Let's open the phone. Let's go across. App 2 saved. And then we'll drag it the other way, 3 fingers across. Then it'll show you which apps are open. So if we want to close off some apps, you can see that this is exactly what we have here in Jelly Bean. And one of the other things that I'll just, so you can turn slide aside off here or there. And one of the other things, where is it? Display, screen effects, Daydream. Front touch buttons. Now, this is one of the things that I really like. So they've kind of have this slide aside for apps, but you can just set up your front touch buttons the way that you like it. This is kind of the typical way. But what's nice is that you see that it goes this side or this side, so it's for right or left-handed. Now, the touch button in the back and the middle, this is good for both right and left-handed people. Along the side, which is usually on the right, it's always for right-handed people. I just thought I would quickly point that out while I remembered it. So if you are a left-handed person, this may be, the best phone for you to get because they've really adjusted it. Now, if we just head back to the slide aside, let's see. Oh, there, that way. You have to shut them off within slide aside. It doesn't work here. LG also has the quick translator. This is a nice feature, so it takes photos of text. I downloaded Chinese. You only get 1 free dictionary, so luckily this is traditional and simplified. I really like that. I'm going to be doing a video comparing the translator here to Google Translate and then what ASUS has with their onboard translator as well, so keep an eye out for that video coming up shortly. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about is, where did I put it? Here we go. Let's open up Dead Trigger. So you'll see how quickly the Snapdragon 800 processor loads the game. This is even benchmarked a little bit higher than NVIDIA's Shield, so that's higher than the Tegra 4. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is the speakers are down here on the bottom of the device. It's not really a factor within this game, but if you do cup the device like this, and I found that I have, it's pretty different. Right, now let's just say, ooh, zombies. Okay, now let's go at least when we get close so you can just see how the graphics look. So maybe I'm alone with how I hold my phone, but I did notice that when I was playing this game. If you look at my gaming video, you'll see that the audio definitely is up and down. So anyways, that's just really something to consider when you're thinking about gaming. If audio is super important to you, the speaker is kind of covered here. I'm going to get out of here before I embarrass myself with my terrible gaming skills. So let's take a look at the camera. I think LG has done a fabulous job with this camera. There we go. This is just in normal mode, but take a look at this. I think it really looks really fantastic. They've put a solid camera in here, and that's really important. That's very important to me. But LG does have a lot of modes. So normal, burst shot, beauty shot, panorama, HDR. Really, it's got a gorgeous display. It's got a great camera. So now if you want to check out audio zoom, you just have to switch it to video, hit record, and then you'll see the audio zoom. Oh, you'll see the audio zoom button comes up here. So then you can show it where to focus. So you just need to put the circle at the thing that you want the audio to go at, and then it will pick up the audio from there. If not, it'll just take a wider audio sample. So what did we think about the LG G2? Well, it's amazing exactly where it matters. I thought the rear button was very intuitive. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was fantastic. So I think you're just gonna have to pick it up, hold it in your hand, and see if it feels natural to you. I think that actually it's exactly where you would want to put your finger on the back of the phone. So that totally worked for me. The Snapdragon 800 processor, wicked quick. The phone moves like butter. It's absolutely fantastic. The all-day battery life, 3,000 milliamperes. What we're looking at is aggressive use during the day and going out at night without having to worry that my phone is going to be out of battery. So no quick charge up in the afternoon. The 3,000 milliampere battery, this is along the same lines of what we're seeing in like the Note. So like a proper phablet battery in a phone that is more comparable to the HTC One, which is at like 2,100 milliampere, and the S4. So these are like much smaller batteries. And this is 3,000. So if you like the battery life on the One or the S4, you're gonna love what's going on with the G2. The camera is great. Takes great photos. LG is really taking the time with the audio zoom to try to make it, one step above. But now I'll get into the cons. This is where some people may, I just loaded the camera there. This is where some people may kind of look down on it. There's a lot of software. So like the audio zoom, the screen capture, the slide aside, all these things that I went over. I kind of liked them, but that is a lot of extra software that LG has included. So they've kind of taken Samsung's approach where they're like throwing as much software as they can at the phone, hoping that some of it's going to be incredibly useful to you. But the one thing that this doesn't have in common with a lot of people that have taken this approach in the past is the processor can handle it. The phone's quick enough. The LG's UI isn't slowing the phone down. It's really great. So though a lot of people have complained about the overwrought software, I haven't noticed it slowing down my experience at all. The one thing that I do not like about the phone is how it's a fingerprint magnet. It's not sexy. It kind of has this it gets kind of I'm not going to say that the plastic doesn't feel good, because the plastic feels totally fine. But the way that the plastic picks up fingerprints, and it almost looks like it has bumps of schmutz on it after a day, so that's kind of gross. I didn't like that. And also the speaker placement down at the bottom, I didn't find that very convenient. When I was doing the gaming video, you can kind of hear it, it muffles in and out. If I'm playing any of the racing games where I'm holding the phone around the edges, the audio just is cut by 80%. So if you're looking for that big sound while you're playing games and you have to kind of cradle the phone, you're going to lose out on that. So overall, would I recommend it? Hell yeah. Am I going to switch to this as my dedicated handset? I sure am. So we have the S4, the Padphone Infinity, and the HTC One in the office. I've been using the Padphone Infinity primarily. The HTC One has snuck in. The S4 I'm just not a really big fan of. I don't really like Samsung's TouchWiz. I know I can cover it up, but with the two other fabulous phones that I have with the Padphone and its killer implementation of Android, I've just kind of gravitated towards those. But the big battery on this at 3000 milliampere is what kind of has me driven over, and I do like the power button at the back. So that was my review of the LG G2. I'm totally in love. I think it's a fabulous phone. It's wicked quick, and yeah, it's gorgeous with its thin bezel. So I'm Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks, taking a closer look at the LG G2. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel right over here. And while you're at it, why don't you like this video?